Chris Rock's first special in 5 years. Away from Tambourine, and also going along with his tour run with Kevin Hart that was very, very viral and very, very sold out, popular by demand all across the country. And now, also, you have to add to the fact that Chris Rock was slapped by Will Smith live at the Oscars. Now, when you watch the special that just came out, the brand new one, Selective Outrage, this is my review of that special. From the beginning, you see the anticipation. Will Chris Rock talk about Will Smith? Also, will Chris Rock really do this live? It was Netflix's first time doing a live stand-up special ever. A live anything. I don't think Netflix has ever done anything live streamed. So this was a live Selective Outrage Chris Rock stand-up special. Now, was it live? I don't think it was live from a stadium directly. Like, I don't think he was performing this at the same time as it was airing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that was the case. I think this was something that was pre-recorded, but it was live streamed and unedited, just raw. But I could be wrong. Nonetheless, that was my least favorite part of this special. Chris Rock had a lot of stumblings. He had a lot of mistakes. He messed up on the big jokes at the end, especially the Will Smith one. And it was just weird to see that because he's Chris Rock. He's a legend. This will go down in history as a part of his discography with stand-up specials. He should not have done this live because you're going to look back at this and it's going to look sloppier than what he has released prior. This is arguably Chris Rock's worst special. Hands down. Not because of necessarily just the jokes, but the overall presentation, the overall takeaway that I've got was that it lacked preparedness. It lacked production value. It looked okay, but then it felt rushed. He seemed like he was rushing into the jokes. It seemed like the editing obviously was not there. They didn't edit it. So we got a product that I think could have been higher quality, in my opinion. And it deserved higher quality because, again, 5 years removed from Tambourine. He doesn't do much specials. Also, he got slapped by Will Smith. Let's actually give this attention that it needs. Let's water this plant. Instead, I feel like they rushed it. Now, the actual product itself, the actual content, the actual jokes within the stand-up special, I think they were pretty good. I don't think they were amazing. You know, selective outrage, the concept of selective outrage is the hypocrisy that this society lives in right now. That's what Chris Rock has addressed in the special. You want to cancel someone for this, but the other person, you don't cancel him for the same thing. You want to be mad about dealing with this, but you get mad when someone else is dealing with that same thing. Selective outrage. I agree with that stance. It happens all the time. You know, and the jokes that he was hitting was very, very blunt. My favorite jokes were specifically these two. The first one was when he was coming at the idea of abortion. And he's like, I'm all for abortion. He's like, I approve abortion so much that, hey, you should be able to kill the baby until they're 4 years old. Right up until they're 4 years old, you should be able to kill the baby. I'm for abortions. No one's paid more for more abortions than me, you know. And I found that hilarious. I'm like, this is so hilarious because it's like he supports it so much. He's like, no, I'm pro-abortion. Don't get me wrong. He's like, but so much that you can kill them as their kids, as their toddlers. It's such an extreme hyperbole joke, but I loved it. And then also the jokes about dating young women and old women, because when you date a young woman, all you gotta buy her some shoes. He has to get her some shoes. Can I get some shoes? 25-year-old, you want some shoes? But then you're dealing with a woman in her 40s or 50s, you know, and he's like, you gotta fix their car. You gotta fix their roof of their house. I found that very hilarious because I feel like that's something that he genuinely has gone through. And aside from that, The big kahuna, Will Smith. The Will Smith jokes, some people are thinking that he went too far, it was disrespectful. It was not. I think it was on point. At first, it was a bit shocking. I'm like, okay, because I didn't know what angle he was going to take. I thought maybe he might go on Will Smith's side. Maybe he might not feel insulted. You don't know what angle, right? Because we don't know what he really feels. And then boom, right away, he's saying that everyone called him a bitch, and then he called him a bitch. Then he came at Jada, and he said that Jada had sex, with Jaden Smith's friend, August Alsina, and he was talking about all of that, and I'm like, okay, he's going full on with it. And he was like, the only was the joke that he messed up. The joke that he messed up, which if he would have had messed up, would have probably been the joke of the show. But he said, that Will Smith did the movie Concussion, and that's when he was not nominated for the Oscars, and Jada Pinkett Smith was trying to boycott the Oscars at the time when Chris Rock was hosting it the first time around, years ago. Now we have Will Smith giving Chris Rock a concussion, he said, by slapping him. But then he said that he watched the Emancipation Slave movie that Will Smith just dropped last year on Apple TV to see Will Smith get slapped. So he was making fun of the fact that, all right, I even watched Emancipation. I even watched Will Smith play a slave just to see him get his ass slapped or beat up or whipped because of the fact that he slapped me. And he also addressed the fact that he didn't do anything back, and has kept quiet for so long. He said because, his mother taught him not to fight in front of white people. And also, he said that, throughout the whole joke, he had a callback joke. It was like, oh, the rapper. He was like, I don't want another rapper mad at me. So he was making jokes about Beyonce, Jay-Z. He's like, but I don't want another rapper mad at me. I don't want another rapper mad at me, because he was also referring to Will Smith, not just an actor, as a rapper. And he was like, when I got smacked, I had summertime stuck in my head. So it was very Will Smith branded, the joke. But the actual performance, the actual execution of the jokes came off frustrated, came off rushed. And I think it was because of the live feature. But don't get me wrong. I do think that was the worst part of the special, the live element and like the performance that Chris Rock gave. But the content itself wasn't horrible. It also wasn't highly impressive. It was something that you might have heard before, but this is Chris Rock's take on it. I think it was funny. I give it a 7 out of 10. That's my review. That's my rating, a 7 out of 10. What's your rating? What's your review of the Chris Rock special? Also, I think that it can age well, potentially. But then, like Charlamagne said this morning, he had a good point. He's like, what if they do this again, re-release it, sharpened, produced, not the live version? Hey, that might work as well. They have the footage, so they could potentially do it. But then you ruined it by doing this live element. And also, I am not mad at Chris Rock getting a bag. When you look it up, it says that we have to realize the fact that also Chris Rock had to reach a contract requirement of 2 specials reportedly online. He was paid $40 million by Netflix for 2 specials, Tambourine in 2018, and then the end of the deal was going to be this special that just came out, Selective Outrage, a $40 million deal, allegedly, supposedly maybe even more than $40 million. So you have to think about it. He also had to fulfill this requirement. Maybe he was able to tell Netflix, let's wait because of the slap. So let's push it back, right? So that probably set back the special a year at least, right? Also, they want it no matter what. Whatever you want, Chris, we want you to talk about the slap. Whatever, you got to take 5 years, Chris, you'll take 5 years because everyone's going to watch this no matter what, right? Love it or hate it. They waited. They tried something new with him. The live element, Netflix Live. I didn't like that. They needed to practice that with someone else, not with Chris Rock. Don't make Chris Rock your guinea pig. That's a $40 million guinea pig that you're doing, Netflix. And I think that was the worst part of the show. Aside from that, I don't think that the Will Smith jokes were awful. I don't think that they were amazing. I think they were what they were. He was frustrated. He has every right to be mad at Chris Chris Rock has every right to be mad at Will Smith for the fact that Will Smith did what he did to him in front of millions of people. And Chris Rock has stayed quiet for over a year, and now we have him doing what he did. I think it was rightfully so. He needed to do what he did, Like, why are we shocked? Eddie Murphy, was it Marlon Wayans, and now Chris Rock. Everyone's making jokes about Will Smith in their specials and in their bits and their monologues. It was bound to happen. Now, will we ever see Chris Rock and Will Smith have a friendship again? That's the big question as well. Will they ever come together? Chris Rock said he respected the hell out of Will Smith a lot. In this special, he said it. I looked up to him. I watched him. He played Ali. And then this happened. And he's saying, it's not about me. It's about his wife. He's blaming his wife for this. Like, a lot of people assumed online. And Chris Rock did that take, which wasn't a necessarily surprising angle. I thought he was going to take a different angle, a unique angle. That was the thing. It wasn't a unique angle. It was the angle that the internet already had, but it was coming from the horse's mouth, and he said it. The whole internet was saying he's a bitch, but I'm the one he slapped. And there we have it. That was Chris Rock's special. Comment down below, show your opinion on that special. That's my review. And for those that enjoyed that bonus clip right there, that is a Patreon exclusive. Please support us on patreon.com/Club Ambition. $3 a month, and you're going to get bonus episodes of our podcast, bonus commentary, and long, extended, interesting conversations that it only will live on Patreon. Welcome to the club, Ambition.